This is the WBBM Theater, Wrigley Building, Chicago.
Back at Sportsman's Park in St. Louis, getting ready to go into the first half of the 8th inning with the National League leading the American League 3-0. Luke Appling will lead off for the American League, be followed by Raleigh Hemsley and then Joe Gordon. Appling bats from right-handed. He's had one of the American League's 2 hits, doubled to right in the 2nd inning. Grounded out to first, unassisted in the 5th. French's first pitch to him is swung off the line drive into right field, pulling there safely for a base hit. Fielded on one hop by Mel Ott, throw in to Pete Skarsgård at second. Appling holds up at first for his 2nd hit of the afternoon and the 3rd American League hit. So far, the American League has had only one man to reach second, and that was Appling when he doubled. Harry Danning talking to umpire Basil back of the plate. Up to the plate now steps Raleigh Hemsley. That's him right-handed. Appling on first, stretched by French. Looks the runner. Pitch. Hemsley swings, fouls it off to the right of the plate, coming down into the lower stands for strike 1. Kirby Higbee is warming up for the National League in the bullpen, and Carl Hubble of the New York Giants. Raleigh Hemsley, the hitter. Nobody out. First half of the 8th inning. One man on. 3-0 favor of the National League. Appling takes his lead off first. McCormick on the bag. Hold him on. The pitch. Swung on, popped high in the air. Back of the plate, Harry Danning. Under it, waiting. And he makes the catch for the foot out just to the right of the plate in foul territory. And there's one away. Hemsley fouling out to Danning. One down. Time called a moment by umpire Steve Basil. Going to have a pinch hitter for Joe Gordon. It's Ray Mack of the Cleveland Indians. Half of that sensational Keystone combination of Cleveland, Boudreaux, and Mack. It's Ray Mack coming in to bat in place of Joe Gordon. Hits him right-handed. Appling on first, one away. Larry French, left-hander, takes his stretch pitches. Mack swings. It's a slow roller. Curving foul down the third baseline, fielded by Del Baker, manager of the Detroit Tigers. Strike 1 on Ray Mack. Bobby Feller is the next scheduled hitter. National League leading 3-0. It's the first half of the 8th inning. French blows on the pitching hand, steps on the hill, looks in. Danning crosses, gives him the sign. Outfield over toward left for Mack. French takes his stretch. Look at Appling, the pitch. Sort of hit foul off the back of the plate unintentionally by Ray Mack. He started to hold back. The ball hit his bat and bounded foul into the stands for strike 2. Merrill May gets the new ball thrown down the third and hands it over to French, rubbing up the cover, looking into the plate. Mack bent at the knees, crouching over the plate, swings the bat from down on the end of the handle. French is ready to go. Appling moves off first. In comes the pitch. Outside and high for ball 1. 1-2 the count on Ray Mack. First half of the 8th inning. National League leading 3-0, having scored all their runs in the first inning when Vaughn and Herman singled and West hit a home run. French looks in, getting his sign, has his stretch. In comes the pitch. Outside for ball 2. 2-2. French had Mack in the hole, 2 strikes on him, then could afford to waste off a couple, trying to get Mack to go after the pitch he wanted him to. Both wide of the mark, so it's 2-2 on the Cleveland second baseman. In comes the pitch. He foul tips it into Danning's mitt for strike 3. Throw down to first, but Appling's back safely. Mack strikes out. Strikeout number 1 for Larry French. 2 down. First half of the 8th inning for the American Leaguers. And it's Bobby Feller's turn to hit. Bob comes out, stops in the batter circle to dusts his bat with the batter's rosin bag. Gets a nice hand from the crowd, as you hear in the background, as he strolls up to hit. 2 away, Luke Appling on first. Bob Feller, the hitter. Kenny Keltner on deck. Second Cleveland player in a row to come up. Third one in a row to come up. Hemsley, Mack, and now Feller. French's first pitch is through the middle for called strike. Outfield over toward left for Feller. French taking plenty of time. Looks in to get his sign from Hank the horse. There's that long stretch of his, looking at the runner, then pitches high outside for ball 1. And it's 1-1 on Bob Feller. Tommy Bridges warming up in the American League bullpen. Hubble and Higbee still doing bullpen duty in the National League bullpen out in left field. 1-1 the count on Feller. Appling moves off first. The pitch is swung on and missed for strike 2. 1-2 on young Bob Fireball Feller. Eddie Miller raises his glove up over his eyes, looking up into the sun to see how it's going to affect him in case Feller should pop one up in his direction. Larry French, left-hander, Chicago Cubs, working for the National League on the mound, comes in there with the pitch. It's swung on and missed for strike 3. And that's all for the American League in the 8th inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 man left on base. And the score at the end of 7.5 innings remains the National League 3, the American League nothing. Strikeout number 2 for French. And the American League so far still has been able to get more than 1 man as far as second base. And that came in the second inning when Luke Appling, who's had 2 of the American League's 3 hits, lined a double off the right field wall. That was the first hit, incidentally, for the American Leaguers. The second one was obtained by Buck Newsom in the 6th inning, the second American League pitcher, and the third hit obtained by Appling here in the 8th inning. American Leaguers have been stifled with the power so far by Paul Derringer, Bucky Waller, Flippo White, and now Larry French. We have a replacement out at shortstop for the American League. Lou Boudreau of the Cleveland Indians has gone out to short to replace Luke Appling. And so now we have on the field Cleveland's outstanding second base combination. The outfit are the 2 boys that have helped Cleveland no end this year in their battle for honors in the American League. Lou Boudreau at short and Ray Mack at second. Mel Ott leads off for the National League in the last half of the 8th inning. Feller's first pitch to Ott is inside, backing Mel away from the plate for ball 1. Make that change on your scorecard. Put Lou Boudreau at short and Ray Mack at second, replacing Appling and Gordon respectively. Feller's next pitch is inside to Ott, backing him away again for ball 2. Frank McCormick on deck. Will come Harry Danny. Ott bats him left-handed. Outfield straight away for Ottie. He's been hitting a lot to left center and center. In comes the pitch outside for ball 3, and it's 3-0 on Ott. The Giants captain stoops over to pick up a little dirt. Has a look at Doc Prothrow, coaching at third. For any sign might be passed along his way. 3-0 pitch is high for ball 4, and Ott walks. One of Mel's specialties. He received more bases on balls than any other player in the National League since he's been in the national pastime in the Big Top. Buck McCormick. Frank McCormick, first baseman of the Cincinnati Reds, the hitter, bats him right-handed. Nobody out. Mel out on first. Outfield shifts over toward left. Time call for a moment. McCormick steps right out of the batter's box. And as quickly as we said that, he's right back in. Feller gets his sign from Hemsley, takes a stretch. Look at Ott leading off first. Pitches through the middle for called strike. Belt high. Hank Greenberg out in deep left, looking up into the sun to see how it's going to affect his eyes in case one's hit out his way. Joe DiMaggio's in center. Lou Finney in right. Ott moves off first. Feller takes his stretch pitches. It's a bunt down the third base line. In comes Keltner fast. The throw is over to first. The Fox in time for the out with Ott going down the second. McCormick sacrificing Ott to second. And is out. Keltner Fox. One down. Ott now in scoring position. Up to the plate comes Ott's fellow teammate, Harry Danning. Currently the batting leader of the National League. Been playing a sensational game all season. Stamped himself as one of the finest backstops in the major leagues. Hits him right-handed. Outfield touch over toward left. Stretch by Feller. Ott moves off second. Feller throws. Danning swings. Smash on the ground out into right field for base hit. Ott comes around third on his way to the plate. The throw comes in, but it's wide of the mark. Ott scores, and the ball gets away from Hemsley, and Danning moves on down to second base. And the National League goes out in front 4-0. Hank Danning, driving one on the ground between first and second into right field for a base hit, gets credit for a run driven in. Gets a single, and there's an error for Hemsley on the play, on Finney's throw to the plate in an effort to nip Ott coming in with the fourth National League run. Hemsley lets the ball get away from him, enabling Danning to go down to second. It's a single to right for Danning, moving down to second on the error by Hemsley. A run batted in for Harry, and the National Leaguers lead now by a score of 4-0. Joe Moore is up to the plate. The New York Giants bats him left-handed. Stretch by Feller. Outfield straight away. The pitch swung on and missed for strike one. And once again, Harry Danning has demonstrated how powerful and how dangerous a man he is up at the plate, as he has been all year with runners on those bases. Feller again has his stretch. In comes the pitch to Joe Moore, who swings, pops one foul off back to third, just underneath the roof into the upper deck for strike two. Merrill May on deck. Joe Moore the batter. Tommy Bridges still warming up in the American League bullpen. And Carl Hubble still warming up in the National League bullpen. Kirby Higbee has stopped his limbering up exercises. Stretch by Feller. The pitch high inside. Ball one. 2-1 the count. Just as the pitch came in, Lou Boudreau at short went over on to second base. Be in position to take the throw in an effort to catch Danning off the base, leaving shortstop wide open, but the pitch was high inside. So it's 1-2 on Joe Moore. One away, last half of the eighth inning, 4-0 favor the National League. Fourth run having come in this inning. The pitch is fouled off against the screen. Still 1-2. Feller goes back to the Rawson bag, looking out in the outfield. Doc Prothro pacing to and fro in his third base coaching spot. Casey Stengel doing the same at first base. Feller's ready to come back into action. 1-2 on Joe Moore, one down. Danning on second. Stretch by Feller. In comes the pitch. Moore swings the ground ball down to Mize at first. Rather, Fox, he throws over to the pitcher who covers Bobby Feller for the second out, with Danning moving down to third on the play. Joe Moore grounding out. Fox to Feller, who covered the bag. Danning went to third on the play, so we have two down. And the batter, Merrill May, Philadelphia Phillies third baseman, bats him right-handed. Feller comes out in front of the mound. He digs that little hole, which is characteristic of his pitching. Those of you who've ever watched him pitch have seen him do that countless times. Takes a full wind-up. First pitch to May. Inside, backing May away from the plate. It breezed his shirt, says umpire Steve Basel, and Merrill May is put on first base, having been hit by a pitched ball. He ducked away from it, just breezed his shirt. And now the National Leaguers have two men on. Merrill May on first, Harry Danning on third, and Terry Moore of the St. Louis Cardinals, always the favorite here nationally at Sportsman Park, because he is the St. Louis Cardinal, one of the hometown boys, and always gets a nice hand as he comes to the hit. Danning on third, May on first, two outs, last half of the eighth inning, 4-0 in favor of the National League. Terry Moore bats him right-handed. The first pitch he ducks away from for ball one. Dropped right to the ground, sat down hard. Moore steps down to the batter's box. That's his cleats to the fat part of his bat. Tommy Bridges has just finished his warming up in the American League bullpen. May moves off first. Danning short lead off third. Stretched by Feller. In comes the pitch. Terry Moore fouls it off to the right of the screen into the upper deck. And the gentleman stands 38th Annual All-Star Game. 1-1 the count on Terry Moore. 4-0 National League, last the 8th inning. Terry Moore digs in. Feller comes in there with his pitch. It's fouled back to the screen for strike 2. One of Bob's set pitches, high hard one. Terry Moore went after, but managed to get only part of his bat on it, enough to foul it back. 1-2 the count. Outfield straight away for Terry Moore. Stands in close to the plate, deep in the batter's box. Standing comes off third, May off first. There he goes to second. The pitch is swung on, hit foul down the third base line, and one hop into the hands of Doc Prothro. 1-2 still on Terry Moore. Merrill May broke for second on the pitch, but it was foul. Comes back to first. Jimmy Fox on the bag. Now May moves off. Standing has short lead off third. Bob Feller takes a stretch. Here's the pitch. He swings and he misses as Terry Moore for strike 3. That's the third strikeout registered by Feller since he went in the 7th inning in the 2 innings in which he's pitched. That's all for the National League at the end of the 8th inning. 1 run, 1 hit, no error, 1 error, Raleigh Hemsley's error, and 2 men left on base. That was the first error of the ball game, by the way, when Hemsley let Finney's throw at the plate get away from him. So the score at the end of 8 innings is now the National League 4, the American League nothing. American League no runs, 3 hits, 1 error, and 3 men left on base in 8 innings. The National League 4 runs, 7 hits, no errors, and 7 men left on base. 4-0 National League going into the first half of the 9th inning.
The big cheer that you just heard was the announcement that Carl Hubble is going in to pitch for the National Leaguers. So the battery for the National Leaguers here in the first half of the 9th inning will be Hubble and Danny. Score reads 4-0 in favor of the National Leaguers going into the first half of the 9th inning, and Ken Keltner will be the first batter for the American League. That's right-handed. There goes Danning's throw down to second base. We're just about ready to go. The hits are 7 for the National Leaguers, 3 for the American Leaguers. Keltner batting. 31,488 as announced as the attendance. Hubble steps in on the mound, getting a signal from Danning for the first pitch here to Ken Keltner, the Cleveland Indians. That's right-handed. Here's the pitch, and it's ball 1 low. First half of the 9th. 1 ball is the count on Keltner. Hubble's into his windup. Here's the next one. Strike. He swung at it 1-1. 1 ball and 1 strike on Ken Keltner. 1-1. Hubble's in on the mound again. Goes into his windup for the next pitch to Ken Keltner. And it's a foul ball going on top of the stands to the right of the plate. And it's now 2 strikes and 1 ball. 2 strikes, 1 ball is the count. Two strikes and 1 ball. Sit on the mound getting set. Here's the pitch. Low, ball 2. 2-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ken Keltner batting, the first man here for the American Leaguers in the first half of the 9th inning. Here's the next one, and it's strike 3. Keltner went down swinging for the initial out. He tried to stop his swing on that one, but it was too late. Finney is up. Lou Finney of the Boston Red Sox playing right field for the American Leaguers. Bats left-handed. Hubble steps in there to get his signal from Danning. Higbee warming up for the National Leaguers down the bullpen, a right-hander. Here's the first pitch, outside and low, ball 1 on Finney. Hank Greenberg on deck. First half of the 9th inning, the score 4-0 in favor of the National Leaguers. 3 runs in the first inning and 1 in the 8th. Hubble steps in on the mound, winding up for the pitch. Ball 2, low. 2 balls and no strikes. 2 balls, no strikes with Lou Finney batting. Gets his signal. Hubble starts his windup again. Here's the next one. Ball 3 inside, 3-0. 3 balls and no strikes. 3 balls and no strikes with Lou Finney batting, 1 man down. Ken Keltner, the first man up, went down by the strikeout route. Hubble starts his windup. Here's the pitch. Low for ball 4, and Finney walks on 4 straight pitches. That brings up Hank Greenberg of the Detroit Tigers, playing left field for the American Leaguers. Bats right-handed. With 1 away, 1 down, Finney on first base, Greenberg batting. DiMaggio on deck. Hubble steps in on the mound. 1 away, bounces over first base. He's into his stretch, all set. Here's the pitch, and it's strike 1. Greenberg swung at it. 1 strike on Hank Greenberg. With 1 man down, Lou Finney on first base in the first half of the 9th. Steps in on the mound to get his signal from Denning for the next pitch here to Greenberg. Up goes the arm, glances over at first. He's all set. Here's the pitch, high ball. 1-1. 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 on Greenberg. 1 ball and 1 strike. Finney on first base. Steps in on the mound. Getting set for the next one. Here's the pitch. Ball 2 outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Hubble tossed in 4 straight balls there to Finney. And the count is now 2 balls and 1 strike on Hank Greenberg. Steps in on the mound. Here's the next one. And it's a foul ball coming back to the plate. Coming back. It looks like it. And he makes the catch right up against the screen. Danning going right up against the screen to make the catch and back to the plate for the second out. So it's 2 away. 2 away, and DiMaggio is up. Joe DiMaggio, the batter. Hubble steps in on the mound. Here's the first pitch, and there goes a high one. Going out to left field. A high fly. Joe Moore moves in. He takes it for the third out, retiring the side and ending the ball game with the National Leaguers winning by a score of 4-1. The results there in the first half of the 9th inning show no runs, no hits, no errors, 1 man left on base. The final score was 4-0 in favor of the National Leaguers. And now, Mel Allen.
And so for the first time in the 8th Annual All-Star Classic, or for the first time in the history of this Midsummer Day's Dream, we've had a shutout. This is the first shutout we've ever had. And that brings the total in the games played now to American League 5 victories, the National League 3 victories. The winning pitcher is Paul Derringer, very likely, and the losing pitcher, Charlie Ruffing. And for those of you who may have tuned in late, a quick recapitulation of what happened. The National Leaguers struck very fast in the last half of the first inning after the American Leaguers had been retired without damage. Archie Bone first up beat out an infield hit. Billy Herman followed with a single to left. And up came Max West of the Boston Bees, who had a home run to the right center field stands to put the National League ahead 3-0. And from then on, there was no score in the ball game until the 8th inning, when Mel Ott first up drew a base on balls, was sacrificed to second by Frank McCormick, and rode home on Harry Danning's single to right. And that's how all the runs were made. The totals for the National League: 4 runs, 7 hits, no errors. For the American League, no runs, 3 hits, and 1 error. Paul Derringer was the starting and winning pitcher for the National League. He worked 2 innings, allowed 1 hit, walked 1, struck out 3. No runs given up, of course, by any of the National League pitchers. Bucky Walters took over in the third, pitched 2 innings, allowed no hits, no walks, no strikeouts. Whitlow Wyatt of the Brooklyn Dodgers came in the 5th inning. pitched 2 innings, allowed 1 hit. No walks, struck out 1. Larry French of the Chicago Cubs came into the 7th. He worked 2 innings, allowed 1 hit, no walks, 2 strikeouts. And Carl Hubble of the New York Giants pitched the last inning, pitching 1 inning, in which time he gave up no hits, walked 1, and struck out 1. For the American League, Red Ruffing of the Yankees started, pitched 3 innings, allowed 5 hits, no walks, struck out 2, and 3 runs were given up by Red. Buck Newsom of the Detroit Tigers came in the 4th, worked 3 innings, allowed 1 hit, 1 walk, 1 strikeout, and no runs. Bobby Feller came in, finished the ball game for the American League, pitching 2 innings, during which time he gave up 1 hit, walked 1, struck out 3, and allowed 1 run. And so it was Max West of the Boston Bees, the offensive hero of the National League this afternoon, and he almost became the defensive hero when he leaped high in the air up against the right field wall, trying to snare Luke Appling's line drive, which went for 2 bases. West was hurt on the play and had to leave the game. Joe Gordon was outstanding defensively for the American League, making a couple of very nice stops, and also Charlie Keller of the Yankees, whose foul catch of Bill Nicholson's fly in the 3rd inning was another highlight of the ball game. That's just about all from Sportsman's Park in St. Louis, ladies and gentlemen, with the National League turning in the first shutout in the history of this annual All-Star Classic. Your announcers have been yours truly, Mel Allen, and France Locks of station KMOX in St. Louis. We hope you've enjoyed our broadcast, and perhaps we'll see you again next year. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
You're listening to the WBBM Air Theater, Wrigley Building, Chicago.